America. It's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yeah, that didn't work so good. Anyway, it's always something. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel. I'm actually still setting up the show in some ways, but you're here. I'm here. Let's just get this thing started. Today's coffee is brought to you today by the country of Austria. This lovely cup that I brought back from there that short time I was there. And the coffee is good. Hey, lots going on today. We got some breaking news regarding the Ukraine-Russia thing. And some others, a lot of stuff's going on. And since I'm late, I'm just going to get into it. Let's say hi to everybody and let's go. Because, oh, by the way, speaking of let's go, can I get a let's go on X, the app formerly known as Twitter? Here's the link. Drop a let's go in the comment or reply to this tweet. A let's go. There we go. If you could do that, I'd be grateful, gratefully grateful. And more than grateful. Anyway, let's start with who's here. First in the chat, of course, is Mr. Avocados Diablo. He gets the bell. And good morning, JB, Kara Soldier, Mike Savage Blarg, Vader 35. That's a new name. Good morning also. Oh, if you're not, by the way, if you're watching or if you're here and you're not subscribed, just subscribe. You may not like me, you may not. I don't care. Just subscribe anyway. If you don't like me, then come to be pissed off. If you like me, well, you know. Anyway, also good morning. Maddie's in the house. Good morning also. Who else? Lord Stanhope is here. Select a boy again, bright and early. Number one is here, and Attack Alpaca. Plague Trucker Zach, what's up? Even though it's just Plague Trucker now. Hello, Plague Trucker Zach. Your name keeps changing. Good morning, Somnambule Nation. Rick Ashbringer, and that looks like everybody. Oh, Justine Ellison. I almost missed it. I'm not going to miss it on purpose, though. You know it's just an accident. So let's get into it, because like I said, we got a lot to talk about. Holy cripes. By the way, thank you to the people who are actually doing that thing. Uh-oh, did I? Okay, I did. For the people who tweeted out the show or said, let's go. Good morning. Thank you, Somnambule Nation. And Mike Savage, well, those two. So again, on there in the chat at the bottom here, or you can see where I said drop a let's go. All I'm asking you to do on each day, if you can just hit let's go on my X announcement. If you're on X, if you're not on X, that's cool either. Anybody win the Powerball? Why did someone win the Powerball? I don't know. It must have been. Maybe it did. I know someone in Minnesota won $2 million. I saw it when I was in the convenience stores. It said, Minnesota has a $2 million winner. I'm like, okay, well, it probably wasn't me because I didn't buy a ticket. So anyway, so let's go. First of all, the special day today is World Mental Health Day, which, so I actually, I got to tell you, how do I want to talk about this? My heart goes out to all the Kamala Harris voters, you know, because you got some problems. But anyway, World Mental Health Day. Here's one. Happy World Mental Health Day. Take care of your mental health. Take it slow. Plan ahead. Set boundaries. Enjoy the small things. Talk about your feelings. Keep active. Be kind to yourself. Limit screen time. Hug your friends. Care for others. Do something you're good at and ask for help when you need it. That's very important to do that. Wait, Cocoa Beach and Palm Beach was hit by a damn tornado. Oh my God. It's just never goes away. Oh my goodness. For $12, LOL, I'm a wiener. What's that mean? I don't even know what that means. Oh, you won $12. Oh, you won $12. There you go. There you go. That's awesome. So anyway, World Mental Health Day. Take care of your mental health. And you can follow that thread. There's all kinds of advice about your mental health on here. Flavor Flav. Oh my goodness. Flavor Flav's got a message at World Mental Health Day. Well, let's listen to Flav, man. You gotta love Flav.
Mental health.
Hold up. Let's do this right. Let's go full screen with Flav. Flavor Flav's got a message for World Mental Health Day. Here we go.
October is a very important month for my mental health. You know what I'm saying? And next week, I'm 4 years sober from alcohol.
Good for you,
today
Flav.
is World Mental Health Day. Now, I've been seeing a therapist in Vegas for a long time, and recently a second one, Sonia, that I always have with me. Sonia is an AI therapist that is available anytime and anywhere.
Okay.
Even at 3 a.m. when I'm out on the road. You know that I like to always be the first to do something revolutionary, you know what I'm saying, that can help other people be happier. But everyone deserves access to mental health. So I reached out to the Sonia team, you know what I'm saying, to cover all the costs of all subscriptions for anyone who downloads the app today.
Oh, wow.
So let's bring a little more happiness to the world. All right? Happy Mental Health Day.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. Well, there you go. A crummy commercial? No. That's just Flav, man. All right. That's kind of cool. He's gonna pay for the subscription of everyone who downloads the Sonia app today, a virtual AI therapist. That's kind of cool. I mean, you know, Flav's a weird dude, but he's a good dude. I honestly think that he's just a good dude. He does some things like for example, he sponsored the entire United States women's water polo team when he found out a lot of them still were working in their jobs when they were training for the Olympics. So he said, you know what, I'm going to cover your entire cost of training and whatever. The dude's, I mean, he's goofy. He's a goofball, but he's a good dude. Goofball. So, cool for Flavor Flav. All right, let's move on because there is breaking news. And I'm just seeing this on X, and it's some of these are only a few hours old, so that's considered breaking news. Vladimir Zelensky has suddenly requested a ceasefire for the war between Russia and Ukraine, and that is being reported by the Bild, which is, I believe, well, this is Italian. This is reported by an Italian newspaper, but the Bild is in Germany, I believe. So, breaking: Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky is calling for a ceasefire. Here's Zelensky at one of many news conferences back when we were told Ukraine must win for 2 years. This is old. Okay, hang on. Of course, this is during a press conference. I think he's honestly, I think Zelensky has a cocaine problem, you know, constantly sniffing, constantly pushing that, you know, pushes his nose. His eyes are always bugged out. He's got a drug problem. And I don't know, it may be cocaine, it may be Adderall, I don't know what it is, but dude is constantly, and I don't know if he's sniffing Adderall or what. So, what is this? He says we have to end the war as soon as possible. That's July 23rd. That's not now. This is 2 hours ago. So this is the only report I see on it. Maybe let's do this. Let's look it up because is he tired of being on a proxy for the United States? It's interesting too because Putin is also trending right now. In fact, let me just go to that topic. I'm going to skip over a couple things and go to Putin. Because one of the top, so a lot of people are talking about this Bob Woodward book where Bob Woodward says that Donald Trump was giving COVID tests to Putin, like just directly to Putin, not just to Russia, but directly to Putin, while Americans were suffering and we were short on tests and blah, blah, blah. Remember, when COVID first came around, we started sending out tests to other places before we started seeing the surge. Hello, Tyre Alexander, by the way. P-Dog, remember the press conference with Trump? He looked like someone who be told he was getting punished by daddy. Yeah, I know. Good morning, GDSOB, too. And Evan S. So, anyway, Glenn Greenwald makes the point, and Glenn Greenwald's kind of an anti-establishment type. He said there's no question the Democratic obsession with destroying Russia by sacrificing Ukraine comes from their moronic belief that Putin is why Hillary lost. Oh, 100%. I told you. The reason there's this obsession and hatred for Russia has to do with Hillary Clinton and her paying for that damn Steele dossier. So they blamed Putin for her loss when, what did Russians do? Oh, they had some Facebook ads, about $150,000 worth. Remember, Hillary Clinton spent over $1 billion on her campaign in 2016, but $150,000 worth of targeted Russian Facebook ads is why she lost. Yeah, I believe that. So anyway, someone here, let's see. Oh, here it is. This is someone, a newsman, posted this. What's her name? This is Batya Ungar Sargon. Makes a point not made nearly enough on the right that Democratic support for the costly, catastrophic, dangerous proxy war in Ukraine is based almost entirely on Hillary Clinton's ability to accept losing to a game show host. Yeah, let's listen to this one. This is probably pretty good. She's a fine individual.
Make no mistake about it. The reason that Joe Biden was such a cheerleader for this war in Ukraine and so insistent on poking the Russian bear in such a way that I think
because
it was Kamala Harris herself who insisted that Ukraine was going to join NATO, which of course was one of the main reasons that Putin gave for why he invaded Ukraine in the first place. It's because they blame Vladimir Putin for Donald Trump's victory in 2016 in a totally free and fair United States election that the Democrats, for all their talk of we're the defenders of democracy, never accepted the veracity of, never accepted the legitimacy of, so much so that I'm sure you remember this, Megan, but when Barack Obama and Mitt Romney were debating in 2012, they got asked, what is the greatest threat to the United States? And it was Mitt Romney, the Republican, who said Russia. And Barack Obama basically laughed him off the stage.
He said the 1980s called. They want their foreign policy back.
Exactly. Who could possibly think of Russia as anything but a potential ally in our fight against our true greatest threat, which is China, right? That was the reasonable Democratic take until Donald Trump showed up and Hillary Clinton became convinced that it was Vladimir Putin who got him elected. And that is the source of their cheerleading and their rah, rah, rah for this war and refusing to even countenance the idea that you get out of a war through diplomacy. They have cut off every avenue possible for that. And of course, when Trump says he will be able to resolve this quickly, it is completely the case.
All right. So she's 100% correct. Because remember, before the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, remember the famous Russian reset button? Remember that shit? That dumb shit that she did? And I just thought, and again, and Barack Obama, when he's debating Mitt Romney, who's our biggest? The question was, who is America's biggest geopolitical foe? Mitt Romney says Russia, and Barack Obama ridiculed him for that. In fact, the entire left-wing media ridiculed him after that answer. And then 4 years later, was it 4 years later? I think, yeah. Then he comes back and. Here's Donald Trump, who's supposedly a Putin puppet because the Hillary Clinton campaign paid for some fake news and fake information from Russian spies via a former British spy called the Steele dossier. And so now here we are. We're leading billions of dollars in a proxy war against Russia because the Democrats could never accept their loss to a game show host. So sorry, and that's why you got how much did they spend so far? $200 billion going to Ukraine weaponry instead of victims of hurricanes. So now, let's see. Trump stopping through Pennsylvania. We will get critical race theory and transgender ideology the hell out of our schools. We will not have World War III. These people don't even talk. I hear Biden hasn't spoken to Putin in like years. They can only cheat so much. They can only cheat so much. They are cheating dogs, I can tell you. Walking out with a massive entourage like a rock star. So this is Trump, I guess. Yeah, this is obviously it's Trump. Let's play it. Let's play it. Oh, no, that's YMCA. We don't need to see it. I don't know why he keeps coming out to YMCA. Maybe it's because the Village People haven't complained about it because, it's just one of those things. It's, that song's almost in the public domain. It's played so much, so I guess I can't say anything about it. Anyway, but the media is melting down because Trump allegedly gave Putin COVID tests. Meanwhile, Biden gave our enemies billions and took millions from countless foreign enemies. So who is this talking?
It is that President Trump secretly stayed in contact with Putin. They allege that he had, 7 or so phone calls with Putin after leaving office. Now,
7 phone calls with Putin after leaving office. Now, how long has he been out of office? It's been 4 years. Is it possible he would call another leader in the world? 7 entire phone calls. Secretly. Look at that New York Times headline. Donald Trump secretly stayed in touch with Putin after leaving office. Book says, again, this is out of, what's the dickhead's name? Woodward, Bob Woodward's book. It's just so funny. Bob Woodward has these scoops, He has the scoops. He's absolutely 100% correct in his scoops. Good morning, Big Dave, by the way.
the Trump campaign absolutely denies this allegation. But I would still say, even if those phone calls actually happened, at least President Trump was probably more likely to put America and Americans first on those phone calls instead of trying to find ways to further escalate the Ukraine conflict into hitting nuclear war.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. You can watch the rest of that yourself. It's in the links. All right, let's keep going, though, because I got to get some other things in here. But anyway, that's going to be the big news today, that Zelensky is proposing a ceasefire. Now, what's interesting about that, has he done that with the approval of Washington or any of the arms manufacturers or any of the, or Kamala Harris, the president, the acting president of the United States? And I say that because I don't know what the fuck Joe Biden's doing. Anyway, now let's get back to, enough. Let's get back to trending topics, because one of these trending topics also happened yesterday. I want to know what happened. Bob Costas is trending again. Now, this is not a big sports page, and we don't do a lot of sports stuff. But apparently, we saw the one yesterday where he seemed disappointed that the Kansas City got a double play on the Yankees. Well, here it is. Here's the top tweet. Ron Darling is a better person than I am. Imagine having to carry the likes of the pompous, overrated, and completely self-absorbed Bob Costas for an entire MLB series and not get mad at his ridiculous incompetence. So let's see. This is another play that people don't like how Bob Costas called. So let's see how it goes. Okay, there's we'll start at the beginning. There's a pitcher, New York Yankee. Oh, this is the Yankees. Okay, let's see how this goes. Good morning, Don Julio, Commandant of Trash. Okay, here it is.
Line drive, base hit to center field. It was smothered out there. I don't know if it was caught.
It was caught.
Oh my gosh!
How did he not see that was
play?
How did he not see that was caught? How did he not see that was caught? That's obvious. It was obvious. Smothered.
Line drive, base hit to center field.
That's obviously a catch.
It was smothered.
Okay, well, Costas, I think Costas used to be a pretty good announcer, I thought. But I guess I don't know. Here's another one from Costas, and is this Costas like homering for? Okay, was the camera operator drunk on this play? Let's see this one. Maybe it's just TBS that's doing a bad
imperceptible.
job.
Stanton hits one well in the gap at left center field, and that's going to get down. Soto heading for third and being waved home. The peg to the plate is late. It's an RBI double for Stanton.
Okay, that's just bad call. Okay, I don't care. It's baseball. That's just baseball. I don't care. But people are mad. All right, let's talk about another thing trending big time still after a few days. 60 Minutes, Howard Stern, Colbert, Jon Stewart, all these Jon Stewart, he didn't have an interview, but Harris did all these interviews this week, and people are still talking about them. So let's start with Colbert, or that's Costas. I want Colbert. There we go. Let's start with 60 Minutes, because yesterday we showed you how 60 Minutes kind of edited one of the questions, and so now there's a lot of people out there asking for transcripts of the 60 Minutes interview, because obviously they edited it quite frequently. So Donald Trump puts out giant fake news scam by CBS in 60 Minutes. Her real answer was crazy or dumb. So they actually replaced it with another answer in order to save her, or at least make her look better. Fake news show scam, which is totally illegal. Well, I don't know if it's illegal. What does he mean it's illegal? No, remember, Barack Obama made propaganda legal again. So Trump, make America great again. Barack Obama, make propaganda legal again. So he's saying, which is totally illegal, take away the CBS license, election interference. She's a moron, and a fake news media wants to hide that fact. Unprecedented scandal. The Dems got them to do this and should be forced to concede the election. Oh my gosh. Whether he's serious or that's, or it's, oh my God. Okay, you can't do that, Donald. But let's see. Now, this young lady has something to say about it, and so let's see what she has to say. And who else thinks CBS should release the full transcript of the Kamala interview? Okay, here we go. Let's listen to this. And I'm really just doing this for research purposes and for the entertainment of a certain member of the chat. So here we go, because this seems to be a fine individual.
CBS News and 60 Minutes owes the entire country an apology right now.
They really do.
I don't think they'll ever recover from this scandal.
They really do.
So CBS literally sliced and diced their interview with Kamala Harris in order to cover up for her awful answers and incoherent responses.
They did.
But they didn't just cut her answers early or omit certain responses. They actually swapped out her responses and put in entirely different answers from different questions. They are actively working on behalf of Kamala Harris and her camp, for which I have 2 words: election interference.
See, now my words would have been, fuck you. But that's what I'm saying.
President Trump was right to not sit down with an outlet that has thrown journalism out the window in order to help Comrade Harris win. 60 Minutes is the same outlet you might remember that ran cover for the Bidens back in 2020. Remember Leslie Stahl's refusal to acknowledge Hunter Biden's laptop? This in her interview with President Trump just shortly before the last election, people. They have lost all credibility.
I'm just saying.
If they have any integrity, 60 Minutes would immediately release the full, unedited transcript. Hopefully a whistleblower comes forward, but don't hold your breath. I'm Caitlin Sinclair. God bless America.
All right. Well, thank you, Caitlin Sinclair. And again, you are a fine individual. Thank you for your contribution to the show. I never heard of Caitlin Sinclair. Let's see who Caitlin Sinclair is. She is she's the official spokesman for TPA Action. So that's Turning Point USA. Or no, TPA, is that right? Turning Point Action, Media Inquiries, Caitlin. She's part of Charlie Kirk's group, and she wasn't showing cleavage. That's just her shirt. It had a hole in it. That was an accident. Good morning, amazing disgrace. How sweet the sound. All right. So anyway, that's what's going on with 60 Minutes. Still, people still saying 60 Minutes, if they had any integrity, they would release the transcript from the entire interview of Kamala Harris, because if they're swapping around answers to make it better for her, then that's crazy. Now, what's this? Something I bet you'll never see on MSNBC or CNN. Okay, that has nothing to do with this. I see. I'm still on Caitlin Sinclair's feed. Well, what happened to? Wait a minute. What happened to? Okay, I made a mistake here somehow. Now I'm stuck on this. I don't want to be stuck on this. Let's see. Oh, there it is, 60 Minutes. I must have... How did that happen? Oh, I opened it. Okay, I made it so that you could see just that. I did this for someone in particular's viewing pleasure, and I'll have that open. So anyway, Howard Stern is also trending. Howard Stern, again, is trending because Well, Congressman Wesley Hunt, I believe he's from Texas. I think so. He's Texas Congressional District 38. I think near Houston, but not Houston proper because Democrats own Houston. But he put up this clip. Now, this is fascinating because, Kamala Harris went and had this interview with Howard Stern, and I think we saw this part, but he adds a little more to it. So let's just put some context into the Kamala Harris interview with Howard Stern. So, because Howard Stern is very, very concerned about how people can't say Kamala Harris's name correctly. Now, I always say it correctly because I don't want to be accused of being racist, even though I can't be racist because, oh yeah, FTG Howard Stern, absolutely. But anyway, so Wesley Hunt, the congressman from shut up Wesley. Wesley Hunt's awesome. No, shut up Wesley. So, but he wanted to, Stern fluffing. Howard's concerned about people saying her name, trying to say it's racist to say her name wrong. But let's see what Wesley Hunt's contribution to this particular topic is.
If he wins, God forbid, would you feel safe in this country? Would you stay in this country?
Howard, I'm doing everything I can to make sure he does not.
Would you feel safe in this country? You mean because she's a Democrat? Why would he ask that question? But anyway, I'm sorry. Let me go. And she got into her, she tried to sound black in this one.
Man.
What are these guys up to?
This part right here.
Your name. They act as if they can't say Kamala. Is it supposed to be an insult?
Now, by the way, there are an awful lot of Democrats who say her name wrong, too. It's not just her opponents. Many of her supporters say her name wrong. And I'll tell you what, you know who says her name wrong the most often? And no matter whether they support her or not, my fellow brothers and sisters, my fellow melanated folks, my fellow African Americans, the blacks, us. We say it wrong the most. Right? You watch it all the time. I'm seeing people saying Kamala, especially in the hood, Kamala. So it's not just, that's not a white people thing. That's just a fact that, you know what? You know who's more famous than Kamala Harris? Kamala the Ugandan giant. He's much more famous, and that's how everyone learned how to say that name until Kamala Harris came around. And so there's, in fact, there are Democrat Congress people who call her Kamala. So just, we'll I'm going to give people a pass when they do it, and if they're corrected and then they keep doing it, then they're just doing it to be a smartass. But anyway, he's asking about what's with these people who can't seem to say Kamala.
Is it like Barack Hussein Obama? Is it some sort of
same
slur?
old tired playbook.
We're
going to be playing Black Jeopardy.
Wait, now here's some footage of Howard Stern. Mr. Howard Stern, that same old playbook.
The brothers were complaining about the prizes. They said they didn't want fried chicken from Roy Rogers. They said they get enough fried chicken.
Here tonight, so it's all right. Ain't that right, you smelly?
I didn't write that.
Well, you is a smelly.
The Honorable Clarence Thomas.
Oh, Oonga Boonga. The black people are against me because they say that I'm not a real black man. I'm the one going to get lynched. Let me tell you something. We're going to be in trouble with the NAANP, the ECOC, and the EIEIOs. Well, I just love to smoke reefer.
You're going to like that.
It's funny how poorly this aged. Because it's probably, I'm sure some people thought this was funny back when Howard did some of these stunts. Mainly, and it's funny because that thing with the blackface, yeah, he was in blackface, but he was making fun of Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg. So he was making fun of the fact that Ted Danson showed up in blackface and Whoopi Goldberg signed on to that shit. But anyway, and look, Howard was funny. I mean, all the sex jokes and stuff. I mean, there's stuff that, that today would be completely out of bounds because, humor is no longer allowed. But you know what? He's talking about people saying Kamala wrong, and trying to be Mr. Oh, I'm so racially sensitive. Hello, Tyre. Alexander the Scourge. So anyway.
On these airways.
If he wins.
So anyway, I mean, it is, Steph, you think it's funny now too? Look, I'm laughing at it, but I'm just saying, this is the stuff that's not allowed. And apparently at least not in Kamala Harris's circles. Now, in my circles, I'm like, well, it was kind of humorous back then. It's kind of humorous now, but it's not allowed anymore. And so, and remember, the rules are, it doesn't matter when it happened. Okay, it doesn't matter when it happened. If you ever did it, you're in trouble. And so apparently Howard Stern gets a Kamala pass. There you go.
And
all right.
God forbid, would you feel safe in this country?
Shut up, Howard. So anyway, that's that trending. Oh, by the way, apparently Howard Stern was hanging out with Diddy a little bit too, but I don't think he was at a Diddy party. So I don't know. By the way, well, I'm going to keep this one. I got to put this one over here. Where's the politics of the... Well, here, I'll just put it right here. Because I want to feature that one too. There we go. All right. And then also, what happened to the other one? Oh, Colbert. Colbert also is trending. Now, and this kind of has to do with, well, let me pull up Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh McEnany tweeted this because here's Kamala Harris's tweet, who says, "We have been working around the clock to prepare for Hurricane Milton and to ensure that federal, state, and local resources are being coordinated in an efficient and effective way." Really? Who is we, Kamala? "We urge you to take this storm seriously. Please listen to your local officials. And if you are told to evacuate, please do so immediately. Do not wait for it till it's too late. Already we have sent more than 1,000 federal personnel to be on the ground in Florida to assist with preparation for this hurricane." So this was yesterday, right? So and here she is. I think this is the same thing she said.
"We've been working around the clock to prepare for Hurricane Milton and to ensure that people are safe.
Hello,
including ensuring federal, state, and local resources are being coordinated."
Let me just stop there because this is 2.5 minutes long. I'm not playing the whole damn thing. But I have a question. And again, this is the title of the show. This up here. That. Riding the storm about the politics of emergency management. Why is Kamala Harris making this announcement? Where is Joe Biden? Don't you think Joe Biden, who is the president, should be doing something that the president would normally do, like this? And so she says, "We've been working around the clock to prepare for Hurricane Milton," okay? And this and that, and someone gave her something to read, right? Well, Kayleigh McEnany makes a really good point here. You've been working around the clock to prepare for Hurricane Milton? What? Yesterday, you spent all day filming The View, Howard Stern, and Colbert. Today, you called into the hurricane briefing virtually. At least come up with a talking point that's believable. Yeah. And on that point here, again, Ron DeSantis on the left side helping Florida get ready for Hurricane Milton. Kamala on the right is drinking beer with Stephen Colbert. Yeah, she was out having a beer with Stephen Colbert in the afternoon, taping a show. Yeah, that looks like she was preparing for the hurricane, right? Holy shit. Now, here's also, speaking of Colbert, Mays Moore. Before the 2020 election, Stephen Colbert said it was immoral to vote for Trump because his administration had lost track of 545 migrant children. The Harris-Biden administration has lost track of over 300,000 migrant children, many sold into labor and sex trafficking. For some reason, Stephen Colbert didn't think it was important enough to bring that up while drinking beer with Kamala Harris. So anyway, that's a good point too. Let me give one a bell. Okay. So anyway, there's a good article in PJ Media here. Here's the reason why Kamala keeps doing terrible interviews. By now, it's become obvious that the Harris campaign is acting desperate. After weeks of doing no interviews, they've suddenly put Kamala out there without training wheels, hoping she doesn't crash. This strategy hasn't gone very well. It hasn't mattered that these interviews were on friendly territory with interviewers who obviously support her. Harris hasn't been impressive, and each interview has given the Trump campaign new ammunition. This week alone, she's gone on 60 Minutes, The View, The Late Show, and even a sex podcast called Call Her Daddy. Okay, stop it. None have been a net gain for the campaign, and it's hard not to ask why her campaign continues to put her out there. Harris's interview on 60 Minutes was so bad, the network literally edited her answers to make her sound better. She didn't come off very well, but clearly she's choosing venues and hosts that are going to be easy on her. Again, the problem is that it's hard to make her sound good no matter how hard you try. So why bother putting her out there at all? I'll tell you why. Time is running out. The race has remained relatively stable. She's not where she needs to be, and the campaign is hoping these interviews change that. The strategy smacks of desperation, though. CNN's Dana Bash admitted as much on Monday during a panel discussion. She did not mince words and pointed out Harris's team knows these interviews aren't doing what they'd hope. Here it is.
And no one is watching the
And they're
rallies.
not moving the needle.
Exactly.
I mean, this is not me saying this. This is the Harris people privately saying we need to move the needle.
It is
it's
stuck.
not moving.
It is a stubborn race.
Yeah.
Okay, so assuming Bash is telling the truth here, it's a striking admission from a campaign that's clearly feeling pressure to do better than they are. And the fact that Kamala is relying on these softer, more controlled environments suggests a lack of confidence in facing tougher questions. Despite doing everything possible to stack the deck in her favor with these interviews, sticking to friendly networks and interviews, they're just not going well and not having the desired effect. They're not, as Bash put it, moving the needle. In fact, the fact that Bash is admitting this and the campaign is acknowledging it sounds like proof that the Harris-Walz team is frustrated and perhaps even panicking. It's like they keep doing these interviews because the polls suggest they have to get Harris out there more, but it's not working. But even if she tosses absurd word salads, there's pretty much nothing to lose. In other words, it seems more like a Hail Mary than a calculated political strategy. So, and I 100% concur. I don't know if it's working. In fact, I think it's going to do damage, maybe. Now, someone also even said, wait, even if you've lost Jon Stewart. Now, I don't know that she's lost Jon Stewart, but this is, someone posted this clip saying, when you lose Jon Stewart, here it is. This is when she was at the $750 apparently.
FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as...
Okay, that was succinct. Now, I'm pretty sure there was more to it, but here it is. Let's scroll down here. Now this person says, Jon Stewart expertly destroyed the blue MAGA wing of the Democrat Party. Of course, the response to the clip that's been circulating is a dishonest but millions vote in the primary. Here's the full segment in which Jon Stewart addresses that ridiculous point. I'm not going to play the whole segment, but I'll make this a separate link. Because Jon seems to be a little more willing to go after both sides lately. I'm not sure why. I don't know if he's having a Chris Cuomo moment but again, remember, this is the same Jon Stewart that went on Colbert and destroyed the Wuhan lab leak narrative that was, no, this came from some bats and some pangolins and they made love and then you had a virus, when the name of the lab is the Wuhan virus lab that makes shit harder to, kill or whatever. And what is this? I did the wrong one. That's right. Oh, wait, this is clip after clip after clip. Oh, because he in that clip, he's talking about how they kind of just installed Harris and that she's not working out so well. All right, let me go through a couple of things. There were big rallies. Donald Trump had a big rally in Reading, Pennsylvania. He had a rally in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And obviously we knew he was in Butler too. Now this interesting, the headline that Grok puts out, I think the fact that all the Democratic shills all use the same talking points, I think they manipulate the algorithm at X a little bit, because the headline here is mixed reception at Trump's Reading, Pennsylvania rally. But then the first thing you see is Donald Trump's Butler rally, full house. Trump rally at Reading. Now, granted, the seats behind Trump in Reading, there's a whole section that they did not open for this rally because they had floor seating. And so all the lefty shills are saying, oh, look at all the empty seats at the Trump rally. That's because I'm sure fire code made them cut off these seats. Notice these are all empty. It's because they probably weren't allowed to sit there, is my guess. A lot of times when you go to an arena, and if you fill the floor seating, they have a fire code capacity, and they will close off a section. So apparently this section was closed off. So they're showing and also it's all right behind the extra bleachers in the middle of the place. You wouldn't be able to see them anyway. So anyway, a lot of people are talking about that, all the lefty shills. So anyway, Trump's rally in Scranton, the entire hour and 25 minutes is on here. Trump rally in Reading, the entire 1 hour and 24-minute rally here. So there's two different rallies. I don't know if Reading and Scranton, maybe it's the same rally. I'm wondering if that's the same rally. No, this says Trump rally in Scranton, Trump rally in Reading. They're not the same rally. So, and both of them have over 2 million views. So anyway, and then Tim Walz had a rally too. I forgot to bookmark it though. Let's get into the hurricane, because that's the biggest news. Obviously, we already talked about Putin. Hurricane Milton has wreaked havoc in Florida. Now, I've got to show you this though, because I put it in the links. Where is Krasenstein? No, that's Lieutenant Dan. Where's the Krasenstein tweet? Well, here, let me find it real quick, because this is wild. It's in my notifications. Hang on. Here we go. This is my daily Krasenstein, and this one's a little concerning because I'm not a fan of the Krasenstein brothers at all. Okay, you know that. But they're great fodder for, political BS. This one, though, concerned me, and this is just concern for my fellow human being. So yesterday, Ed Krasenstein tweets this: update from my home in Fort Myers, Florida. As Hurricane Milton approaches, we are expecting a peak storm surge of 8 to 12 feet. It's getting breezy, but the eye is still well offshore. Apparently, Ed is deciding to ride it out. Now, his area. I don't know the positioning of Fort Myers towards the eye of the hurricane, but they have an evacuation order for this area. And
for a high tide. It has come up.
Here it is.
So here we are in Fort Myers. We are on the Caloosahatchee River in Fort Myers, Florida, where we're expected to get between an 8 and 12 foot storm surge.
So he's expecting this 8 to 12 foot surge.
The storm is still well offshore. The eye is not supposed to pass near or around us until around 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. But as you can see, the water level is about normal for a high tide.
Thank you, Gunfox. Hi, by the way.
I'm standing.
Anyway, so he's deciding that he's going to ride it out. And then so a subsequent tweet, someone here, Ed, why are you still there? Are you in or really close to the evacuation zone? Ed says, we have a second story, so we'll be good even if the water comes up. That's the biggest danger to us. I just don't know why he would ride it out, knowing that's going to be a 8 to 12 foot surge. I mean, especially after watching that video from the Weather Channel. But anyway, let's go into the New York Post article. Hurricane Milton slams into Florida West Coast with 120-mile-an-hour winds, leaving 3 million without power. Milton slammed Florida West Coast Wednesday night as an extremely dangerous storm, bringing a life-threatening surge and catastrophic winds that left more than 3 million without power and areas inundated with water. Milton made landfall as a Category 3 storm, so at least it did end up being a Category 5 storm, which would have been much worse. Near Siesta Key in Sarasota County around 8:30 p.m. with winds up to 120 miles an hour, according to the National Hurricane Center, significantly lighter than the 180 miles an hour that Milton hit while raging as a Category 5 storm in various points as it traveled across the Gulf. Siesta Key, a barrier island off of Sarasota, renowned for being one of the 25 best beaches in the world, has about 5,500 residents who are mostly retirement age. Water levels rose more than 8 feet in nearby Sarasota. The National Weather Service reported with storm surges of up to 5 feet recorded from Naples to Charlotte Harbor, with more inundation likely in Manatee and Sarasota counties. By early Thursday, the superstorm was downgraded to a Category 1, though its effects could still be felt as it made its way across the Sunshine State. Sarasota will continue to see intense gusts of upwards of 100 and plus in the next few hours as Milton gradually moves across the region, as well as a storm surge as high as 12 feet. Senior meteorologist at Fox Weather told the Post. Power outages are likely. Yeah, they've lost 3 million without power. These effects will gradually wane early tomorrow morning as Milton moves away from the county. More than 2.2 million people were without power early Thursday, according to PowerOutages.us, with several outages along the Pennsylvania western coast and central Florida, where several deadly tornadoes ripped in the region. So you have hurricanes on one side, it's like hurricanes to the left me, tornadoes to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle of Florida. Wow. The dangerous twisters also took down power lines earlier in the day. At least 9 tornadoes were confirmed as storm systems capable of generating horrific tornadoes swept across Florida and its southern peninsula ahead of Milton's official landfall on Wednesday, the National Weather Service in Miami confirmed on X. On the opposite coast of Sarasota, tornadoes killed multiple people in a retirement community in Florida, Fort Pierce. St. Lucie County Sheriff Keith Pearson told the local news station that between 6 and 12 twisters tore through the area in just 20 minutes. He later said he was able to confirm a total of 17 hit the county during the appearance on Fox Weather. Search and rescue teams were evacuating people from damaged buildings in Spanish Lakes Country Club Village, where several people died, he said. The sheriff didn't provide an exact number of fatalities Wednesday night. More tornadoes could hit the state early Thursday. And then back in the Gulf Coast, Fox Weather officials said that the center of the storm went over Sarasota as opposed to 15 miles north, resulting in small deviations in terms of which areas experienced the worst storm surge. And there's more in the article, and Breitbart also has an article. But probably the key point is that it came in as a Cat 3. The storm surges are not as high as expected, but still very high, up to 8 feet storm surges. I'm reading from this. And lots of damage in Sarasota and Siesta Key. So the things that are trending are Florida obviously is trending. Now this is U.S. government. The government says we highly suggest you evacuate ASAP. Florida man hitting the bong as the hits. By the way, someone says it's not about the beer, it's about the timing, with Florida facing one of the most powerful hurricanes in decades and bodies being recovered in North Carolina by DeMort. This isn't what leadership looks like during a crisis. It's tone deaf. This is Kamala on Colbert, drinking beers with Colbert. Now this is Ron DeSantis. Someone says, bless this man. He knows Florida is about to be wrecked. He knows over 22 million people live here, are in jeopardy of Hurricane Milton. Lift a prayer up for Ron DeSantis. The weight on his shoulders is heavy.
I'm barely getting by.
I don't need to play the music.
Losing track of...
knowing you can only do so much and can't stop the storm. Yeah, he's stressed, but that's, But someone here says, not a single governor in the United States I'd trust more than Ron DeSantis to handle relief operations after a major hurricane like Milton. Here's DeSantis This is DeSantis yesterday.
My job is to manage this process and lead the state through this. I am using every lever at my disposal, including federal government resources. I've marshaled all the agencies in the state government, and we're working like never before to supplement our local communities. I've got to get the job done, and that's what I'm focused on. Now, people have asked me about, is FEMA going to do this? Just let me be clear, in Florida, we run the show. FEMA's not running the show. We will utilize them to support some of the things we're doing, but you are not going to see FEMA running amok in Florida. I know that's been out there on the internet. That is not going to happen. I'm the sheriff that's in charge here, and we will make sure to protect you. Don't worry about it. My job.
Now, that's leadership. And I know a lot of people who don't like DeSantis and he's not charismatic, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. He's been ahead of this since before the last hurricane, before Helene, and he has been on top of it. He's, communicating with the state, getting people to evacuate, and no matter how hard they try, like they people were criticizing for not taking a call from Kamala Harris. Why the fuck would he take a call from Kamala Harris when they're preparing for a hurricane? She has nothing to do with any of it, and that's what I'm talking about. The politics of emergency management. It's the governors who take on the heavy lifting, and they can request stuff from FEMA, and FEMA can give them stuff. But I'm telling you right now, DeSantis has been very good as far as I can see. Also trending Floridians, because people are laughing about just how Floridians are. The lineman crews are already ready to go in Florida. God bless them. On behalf of a grateful state, thank you to all the linesmen mobilized to help Florida recover. Thank you for your service. God bless you. Yeah, they've got people from all over the country going down and getting ready, being ready for when, the obvious power outages are going to happen. Breaking, Trump is housing nearly 300 Florida linemen free at his Doral Miami resort ahead of the Hurricane Milton's landfall. We saw that one yesterday. Turns out Floridians are desperate, but not that desperate. Bud Light remains completely untouched. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay. Also trending on this, Sarasota. Some of you, I just need to say it. Some of you lost your friggin' minds over Hurricane Milton. We do live in Sarasota County, where it's making landfall right now, but do not live on the coast, 15 miles plus inland. People tell us, what? People tell us we deserve to die for that? That's stupid. People have been telling us all day that we deserve to die for not leaving and to write our daughters' social security numbers on arms to be identified. The video to the left is the worst it has gotten. Now, I want to be very clear. If you live on the beach or are in a mobile home or a major flood zone, evacuation is a necessity. I hope those people all got out and are safe, but I'm not joking. I've had family and friends telling me that all Florida is going to be wiped out by Milton. That's not true. That's not how it works with hurricanes. But anyway, and kiss my daughters goodbye tonight because we stayed. Now, I mostly blame the over-sensationalized media for hyping everyone up, making it sound like this was going to make landfall as the most catastrophic storm in history. It literally made landfall as a Cat 3, 120-mile-an-hour winds. That's far from the largest. People saw that it was a Cat 5 with 200-mile-an-hour winds when it was in the middle of the ocean and thought it would land at that. TikTok and random weather people didn't make this any better. It's like the whole country is watching us like NASCAR, hoping to see a fatal crash. That's messed up. So, and that, I guess now that I think about it, my reaction to Ed maybe had some of that element, but Ed is right on the water, where an 8 to 12 foot surge would be up in his house, and I just think water has some really interesting properties in that, and you don't realize the power of it. So it's interesting, but good for them. We just hooked the generator and watching Garfield on Netflix. So good for them. I mean, I'm glad these people are safe. They're 15 miles in. You're not, and if you're 15 miles in, you're not going to get affected as much by a storm surge as you would be if you're on the beach or in a mobile home or whatever. So hello, Now What Studios, Moo, my friend from high school. And Willie's in the house. Also Darren Root. Welcome, y'all. Nice to have you here. So that's that. Siesta Key also trending because they're taking the brunt of it. If you're on the Key, you know you're on low land. Hurricane Milton made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida as a Category 3, weakening to Category 1 and moved very quickly across central Florida, producing significant flooding and high winds and destructive tornadoes. From Sarasota, Fort Myers, and Orlando, over 3 million households are without power. Lieutenant Dan of Tampa has survived. Okay, so there's... so this is some of the damage. And, thank the Lord or whoever you choose to thank, and that it didn't come in as bad as it could have. But obviously there's still major damage. This is in Siesta Key.
And joining us live, he's on the ground. He's in Tampa, Florida tonight.
Okay,
For most of the day, we thought Tampa would be at ground.
I'm not going to do 4 minutes of this, but and again, if you have weathermen out in the storm, it's not as bad as they thought it would be. All right, and then what's this other one?
Straps and hooks. Pedro Casares showing us his unconventional approach to keeping his Orlando home intact through Hurricane Milton.
Okay.
Preparing my house for the hurricane. Right now, as you can see, the hooks on the floor, they're 8 feet deep of cement. They have rods in between, and it's to hold the friction of the roof from lifting.
His daughter explains the unique idea was
wild.
born from experience more than 2 decades ago while Pedro and his family lived in Puerto Rico.
We had a hurricane that we went through, and the back of our roof lifted a little bit. It was aluminum.
Right on, Somnable Nation.
Now, roughly $2,000.
Okay, that's pretty wild. He has anchors down in the ground. He straps his house down when the hurricane's coming. That's amazing. All right, you'll find that in these links. Also, Orlando trending. Here's some images. Damage caused by Hurricane Milton. Thank God it was degraded and did not turn out to be as powerful as expected. We wish a speedy recovery for all those affected. I'm not sure. It's just the different cities it hits. Here's the wild one though. I think this is in Orlando, Tropicana Field. The whole roof went away. Here's some footage of Tropicana Field. I'm not sure if that's in Orlando. But it had a baggy roof like the Metrodome in the Twin Cities used to have. What the hell? We called it the baggy because it's held up by air pressure, and the whole roof got ripped away from this field. So apparently they had a convention in there at some point because all the tables and chairs down there. But yeah, that's wild. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, and Lieutenant, this is funny. Lieutenant Dan is trending. Now, if you don't remember who Lieutenant Dan is, Lieutenant Dan is the guy who lost his legs in Forrest Gump, and Forrest saved him, and he didn't want to be saved, and he ended up being Forrest's first mate on his shrimping boat. Well, here's this guy is known as Lieutenant Dan.
I think you.
Hang on, let me read this first. Happening now, Joseph Malinowski, known as Lieutenant Dan, has survived Hurricane Milton while hunkering down in his boathouse on the Florida coast. Malinowski appeared to be in good spirits and was happy to hear that the water was receding and went back into his sailboat. So this guy rode it out in his boat.
Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you sure?
He says he's fine.
I think you made it through the worst of it.
So they were calling this guy Lieutenant Dan. Checking my phone every hour for Lieutenant Dan update. Here it is. This is him. This is the guy that they were calling Lieutenant Dan. He said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna ride this out."
We got the boat here, and Lieutenant Dan here. How did it go? How'd the night go?
It was a little rough till about 11:30. I repositioned the boat, and I was heading into the wind, and I slept like a baby from 12:30 to 5 o'clock this morning. I woke up twice to pee, that was it. But other than that, I mean, it's been a great night. I just smoked half a joint. I'm watching all the people run around like crazy because of all the water.
Oh my gosh, you gotta love this guy.
It was over the fucking pole.
There's the boat still standing.
I mean, I believe me, I got battered against the tire, but other than a couple of scuff marks on the side, my boat's
He's
better
lucky
shape
he's
now
not
than
in
it was
someone's
before
front
because it got
yard.
washed. So I mean, everything's a plus. It's a win-win all the way around.
What'd you learn from this experience?
Now he's gonna go shrimping.
No damn thing. No, actually, there are a lot of good people in this world, and I gave up on this world years ago because I've been on my own, and I mean I struggle every freaking day just living, and never anybody offers to help, never. But Terrence here posted this video, and it started getting likes, and then people started realizing that, you know, maybe he's not just crazy, maybe he really does need help.
Of course, man, let's go.
And people came out and helped me. We moved my boat from down over here, where I would have got smashed last night on the wall, and we brought it over here.
Yep.
And one of the guys is actually a sailor, so he kind of knew how to rig it. So, and then once he was done, I could modify it and make everything work better.
Wow. So, yeah, that guy's the story. He's trending on a couple different platforms here. Lieutenant Dan successfully weathered Hurricane Milton. There he is.
Are you okay?
His boat looks good.
Everybody's worried about you. Who's worried about you?
Oh, there's while it was happening, though. Holy smokes. All right. So anyway, there you go. By the way, there's a lot of people talking about this hot mic moment by Kamala Harris. Now, first we're going to go to Henry Sisson, one of these, the Democrat shills. He says, Vice President Kamala Harris just called into the Weather Channel and gave important updates on Hurricane Milton. How would she be giving updates on Hurricane Milton? Why would she be giving updates? She's not the president. And meanwhile, Trump was out there lying about these disasters. Harris is a real leader. Trump is a fraud. Let's see what she had to say to the Weather Channel.
There are federal resources you are entitled to receive without condition.
She's reading off a script. You can tell.
There are resources that are available to you to deal with what you need right now. To, for example,
She's
get money to be able
obviously.
to fill your prescriptions and deal with a hotel expense and help you recover over the longer term. The other point I would make is this. And
I wonder if there'll be a surge in pricing for those hotels right now because there's, the demand.
I've done this work in my career. Sadly, there are some folks who, during the moment of a crisis, will be very predatory and start jacking up prices like gasoline or hotels or airlines to take advantage of the desperation people are experiencing. So to anybody who's thinking about jacking up those prices, those companies that are thinking about doing it, know that we are monitoring.
Oh,
and
are
we're
we?
watching. And if there is that kind of price gouging, that there will be a consequence for that, because it's just wrong to take advantage of people who are desperate for help.
Yeah. So anyway, now there was a little bit of a hot mic moment she had. Apparently, for some reason, and I still haven't quite figured this out, because you would think that the President of the United States would be the one doing this. But apparently, Kamala Harris and her staff, first of all, her staffers were giving her questions to ask during the hurricane briefing, and she covered her mouth to let them know that it's a live broadcast. Little did she know her mic was still on. Total incompetence, full display. So she's on this C-SPAN briefing with FEMA. Can y'all tell me what's wrong with this picture? So you got the Vice President, Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, Administrator Deanna Criswell from FEMA, Admiral Linda Fagan from the Commander of the U.S. Coast Guard, Keith Graham, Director of the National Weather Service, and Michael somebody, Director of some shit, whatever, who he is, NOAA or something like that. My big question is where the fuck is Biden? Why isn't he in this grouping right now? But anyway, the point is that they're making with this video is apparently her staffers were feeding her questions. And the funny thing about it is, do you notice that she's not wearing any kind of headset or anything to talk to her staffers? But who is she talking to? And plus, it's a hot mic moment. So here it is.
Flood. We really got to watch those areas and those communities. So it takes quite a while for that water to drain.
She covers her mouth and forgets to mute her mic and says, "It's a live broadcast." But who is she telling this to? Oh, she's wearing her earbud earrings. She's wearing the earrings that she can talk through it. And by the way, this is not now, I thought this was a conspiracy theory before. Remember during the debate, she's wearing these earrings that she always wears. And people are saying that, oh yeah, these earrings are earbuds. Basically, they're like whatever that bone technology earbuds where you can hear them, but they don't have to put it in your ears. And I thought, oh, this is a conspiracy theory, until I saw a video of her actually using them during a phone call with Barack Obama. And she's talking to him through these earbuds. And now she's doing this with her staff. It's not like she's wearing, is she wearing a special earpiece? Why is she talking to her staff during this meeting saying, this is a live broadcast? Stop talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Ken, I have a question for you. You mentioned words matter, and I know there's a lot of...
Okay, so anyway, that's what people are saying, that she's busted. I don't know if that's in fact. Whatever. Harris struggles through live broadcasts on Hurricane Milton, covers her mouth to tell her staff she's on a live broadcast before stumbling while reading prepared notes. Okay, so a lot of people pulling that up. Now here, Dana Bash, of course, is she's bashing Trump. That's her job, is to bash Trump. She tweeted, Vice President Harris just called into CNN following a briefing on Hurricane Milton. Why is she, and again, why is Vice President Harris getting the briefing on Hurricane Milton, and where is Joe Biden? Where is Joe Biden? I don't know. Why isn't he in the briefing on Hurricane Milton? And Dana Bash writes, I asked about dangerous misinformation coming in part from Donald Trump. Harris says it's unconscionable, frankly, that anyone who would consider themselves a leader would mislead desperate people. Well, you seem to be misleading them on what your role is here for political gain. Again, I've been working around the clock to prepare for Milton. Really? On Colbert? Stern? 60 Minutes? Call Me Daddy? That's you're working around the clock, all right, but not for that. So, all right, that's kind of it for today, guys. I mean, I got all kinds of articles open, but I don't have time. Let's see. Oh, the last thing is apparently someone's upset with Trump for him saying this thing. They'll finish with this. Let's finish with this. And this is ACN. This is like someone who's part of the Midas Touch group, if you're familiar with Midas. So they're mad at Trump for saying this. Here, let's put the clip on.
How about that one? Your child goes to school and they take your child. It was a he and comes back a she. And they do this. And they do it.
Okay. So they're upset that he mentioned it. Now, again, schools right now, in some schools, and there's plenty of stories, you could find thousands of stories like this, where parents saying, oh, they socially transitioned my child. At school, they were calling her a different name, or calling him or her or whatever, using different pronouns or whatever. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. Now, then they put down here where Daniel Dale did a fact check. Trump's own campaign could not find a single example of this school secretly sends child for gender affirming surgery without parental consent. He didn't say that. They came back using different pronouns, or they, socially transitioning. And again, this person who posted this, they wouldn't even give my daughter Mojo without my consent. I can't count the times I had to leave work to go up to school and give her some fucking Mojo. But sure, they can give her major surgery without consent. That's not what he was saying. What he's saying is there's this whole new thing about Like, I'm wondering, did these people forget the term social transitioning? Kind of the first step to all this stuff? That you go to a conference and they're calling them by a different name and pronouns? There's stories of parents saying that all the time. And in fact, if your kid shows up, let's say your kid runs away. You live in, let's say Nebraska, okay, where I grew up. Your kid, you got a runaway kid. Kid 13 is a runaway. And they're mad because you won't let them change their name and pronouns. Let's say they're 13 or 14 years old. And you're the parent and you're saying, well, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to do, this is my, and by the way, Tim Walz thinks that's none of your business, as a parent even. But let's say they end up in either California, or they end up in Washington State, or they end up in Minnesota. And this 14-year-old decides that they're going to go to Planned Parenthood and get gender or hormones. Do you know that they can get them in those 3 states at 14 years old without parental consent? They can transition without parental consent, even though they're not a resident of the state or anything. They can just, if they end up in your state, they can get that without parental consent. Or let's say there's a divorce going on, and the judge in Nebraska says, you know what, you cannot. We're not going to do any of the medical transition. We don't care. You can do the social transition, but we're not going to allow any medical transition because we're in a whole different divorce thing. And that one of the parents takes their kids to another state and does it anyway. Well, some of those states, even though a judge said you cannot, some of those states say they will disregard any order from another state. They're in our state now. We'll do what's okay, what we want. So that's what he was talking about, and that's. It's funny that all of a sudden there's like, well, there's no evidence that any school has ever sent a kid out for gender transition surgeries. That wasn't what he said. Okay. So anyway, I have a lot of articles in the links today, but I don't have even time to mention them because I got to go. But let me do this. I am going to drop them in the chat as soon as I get rid of a couple of these unnecessary ones. Let's drop them in the chat right now and call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I appreciate you being here. I'm here Monday through Friday, about this time, same time, usually around 10 o'clock Eastern, often late, but never, I never disappoint. Totally. I don't think I've ever unless I've had a major technical problem, I don't think I've ever just canceled a show. So I think we're doing okay. Anyway, here's today's links. Thank you so much for being here. I do got to go. Have a wonderful day. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.